Hello, hello. This is Robin Sampson with BibleJournalLove.com. The tutorial you're about to see is part of the Exodus Bible Journal Along class. Every week we have a Bible study class and a Watch Me Bible Journal video with tons of artwork. If you'd like to be a part of this class, click the link down below or go to BibleJournalLove.com and click the top of the page where it says Bible Journal Class. Hope to see you there. This video, you're going to watch me Bible journal digitally, and this is the page I'm going to make. Before I'm finished, you will know how to make this page and all the little tricks to make it. And like I always do, I try to teach you one specific tip. And today it's going to be how to make a tag. We're going to make this tag where the Nile turns to blood tag. And we're going to make this journal tag. And then the other things are things that we've already covered. But I'm also going to teach you how to take the black word blood in your kit and turn it into red, and then have it stand out like that, like it's a physical alphabet. When you make a page using a traveler's notebook background, like this one, like I have in all of my kits, it tells you to create it and then print it. Make sure that your printer is set to the actual size. There's some confusion about the size to make things. If you open up something that I've made in Photoshop Elements, like this Traveler's Notebook background, it is exactly 8.5 by 11, and that's what you need. But most importantly, you need it to be 300 dots per inch. So if you were going to make your own Traveler's Notebook, you would go to File, New, Blank File, and then make it, say, 8.5 by 11 inches. But the most important thing you would have to do is make sure that this resolution is set to 300 dots per inch, because that's going to make crisp, clear print. You would start with a blank page, but you don't need, and then mine, of course, is turned sideways. It's only 25% showing here, so it shows up in the window. But mine is already that size. This is a traveler's notebook, in case you don't know. A traveler's notebook actually is a cover for traveler's notebook inserts. And when we work on a page like this, it's a page that we cut out, we print either just the background, or we print it like this with all the information on it, then cut it out and glue into these inserts. And the reason that we use them is because they're so neat. You can fit 4 to 10 traveler's notebooks in one notebook. So you can have one for recipes, one for Bible study, you can have one for Exodus, one for Proverbs 31, like that. So it's really a convenient and fun way to use, and there's lots and lots and lots of traveler's notebook groups all over the internet. So we're going to start with a traveler's notebook background, like this. There are several different ways that you can drag and drop your elements in. I have them here opened in my Finder, where I could drag them in like this, and they come in as a separate image, and then I can drag them in to the page. Or you can click Open, or you can use your organizer. Using your organizer and other things like that are in the class Quick Learn Photoshop that I recommend. So I'm going to go drag. I'm working in Photoshop Elements, and I've already dragged several of the things I'm going to use in here. So now I'm going to draw a rectangle, a rounded rectangle, and we're going to create a tag. So over here under Draw, look at the Draw tools. The first thing I want to do is I want to choose the color. And the color I want is the color of this sky in this image where the Nile turns to blood. So now we have that color. And the rounded rectangle we're going to draw will be that color. Now in the box, if yours is already a rectangle, go over and select rounded rectangle, the third one in. Yours is probably this one. Select the rounded rectangle, and then it asks for a radius. And your radius, the lower the radius, the more square it will be, and the higher the radius, the more rounded it will be. So 50 would be kind of in between, and I like it to be a little bit more, so I've chosen 60. So we're going to draw a rectangle at 60 points radius. And that's the same color as this blue, because what we're going to do next, use your select tool and move the image of the Nile turning to blood over this tag that we just made. And we're going to shorten it about that big. Now go back to your Nile turns to blood image. Make sure that you're on that image in the layers tool over here on the right. And underneath it should be your shape 1. My shape 1 is not underneath it, so I'm going to drag it up. Right click on your Nile turns to blood image and create a clipping mask. So now you can see this looks more like a tag than an image. Now click on that right image and nudge it over with your right arrow or pull it over with your cursor until you get it to look the way you want. And it's real simple to, you can either you can erase a little circle there, or you can draw a white circle. So select this ellipse tool, change your color to white, hold down your shift key and draw a tiny circle. Okay, it was underneath. It drew it in white, but it was underneath. So now put it in the middle. You can eyeball it, or you can select both and go down here. You select all 3 of them. Let me put shape 2, the Exodus picture, and the shape 1 all together, and then we're going to center them by clicking that button. And actually, I don't like it centered. I prefer this one to go over just a little bit so that the words come out clear. So I'm going to select all 3 of those, the shape 2, the Exodus shape, and the shape 1, and I'm going to click Command G on a Mac and then Control G on a PC to keep that as one group. So now we have one group. So now, because it looks like it's a tag, you can put a little bow there, you can put a brad there, you can offset it so that it looks like you're hanging it on your traveler's notebook. Okay, so now we have this on this side, and I'm going to use a little piece of washi to adhere that down. And I'm going to take the washi tape over here in the layers bar and bring down the opacity. And you see how that looks like real washi tape? You can see the little edge behind it. Another thing we're going to do with this group is I'm going to put a style on it. So on the layers tab, first of all, I'm going to name the group Nile tag. Now I want to put a style on it. So I go to the bottom of the page and click the style. So I go to the drop shadows and try that one. You can try different ones and see which one looks good to you. I will say beginners seem to put a lot of big drop shadows and they need to be much smaller. And that looks pretty good. So we're going to start with that one. And I think on the practice page that I did earlier, to get an idea of what I was going to show you, I did 3 brads on the bottom of the page. And the reason I wanted to use them, another little tip I wanted to teach you, is to select all 3 of these, center them by clicking the Align Center button, and then you can go to Distribute and distribute them from the middle. And what that does is it does it exactly the way it needs to be to align it. So now I'm going to hit Command G on my Mac, Control G on a PC to group that page. Now let's go back to the layers, and now we can call this, I'm going to rename this Brads. Whether or not you name your layers is up to you. Sometimes it's very helpful, sometimes it's too much work. So it's up to you. Another thing I'd like to do with these is go ahead and put a drop shadow on them. These are tiny, so they won't have much of a drop shadow. So if I go to Styles and select the tiniest drop shadow, well, it doesn't look bad. I thought it was going to be too much, but it looks okay. I want to use a piece of washi underneath the brads. I'll go back to the layers palette. I'm doing it before I show you, which I'm not supposed to do. This is the washi was above the brads, and now I'm going to pull it down below the brads. Another way to do that, instead of pulling it, is the keyboard shortcut is Command left bracket on the PC, it goes down one at a time, or Control left bracket on a PC, Command left bracket on the Mac. There's some washi, and we'll get some more. I love washi tape. I love real washi tape and Photoshop washi tape. I don't think that one looks good there. Okay, I chose this little piece of wire because I wanted to show you something that's a lot of people miss, is that when you're working with digital elements, remember you can use them as many times as you want. So you don't have to save something special for a special page. You can use it over and over again. And then turn it a little bit. This tag. Now I'm going to hit, I want to duplicate it 3 times. And the reason I want to do that is because I like the look of it and I want it to be in several places. So on a Mac, I hit Command J and Command and the letter J. On a PC, you'll hit Control and the letter J, and that duplicates it once. So now I can drag. Let me zoom in. To zoom in, you hit Command and the plus sign on the Mac and Control and the plus sign on the PC. Now we can grab, I only want one. I'm going to go out a little bit. And I wanted to put this over here on the side. Then I'm going to duplicate it one more time by hitting Command J. And that gives us our third. And I've already put the drop shadow on it, so I don't have to duplicate that. And I'm going to put it over here so you can see it's sticking out on all 3 sides. And I just wanted to show you that you can use one element several different ways and have a neat look. Now on the right side of the page, I'm going to drag this paint. And usually let me give you a fast rule. If you are going to print this out, remember everything needs to be 300 dots per inch. Everything that I give you in a kit will always be 300 dots per inch. And if you use it that size or smaller, it will be fine. However, you should not make it bigger, but there's an exception, and here's the exception. When it's something like paint, that's fine to pull it and make it bigger because it's going to look about the same printed out. So I'm going to use this paint here, but then we're going to put a tag on top of it and make sure that it sticks out from underneath the tab. This is the tab, the little tab or journaling spot. We want that to go up. Okay, I want black. I'm going to use a font that looks like it's hand printed. I have a lot of fonts. There we go, complete in him. I like that one. Okay, we're going to go a little bit bigger. Let's go to 30. That's going to be too big. Let's go to 26. Oops. What I want to do is make the area between the first line, between each line, smaller. And to do that, I use the leading. And right now it's on automatic, which means it's probably around 29. And I'm going to bring it down to 26. Let's see what that looks like. And it doesn't look bad, but it still doesn't fit on the lines. So what I could do is take 5 to 10 minutes to play with that leading and make it fit on these lines. Let me zoom in so you can see better. So I could select all the text and make the leading 27 and see how that fits. And keep playing with it to make it fit on the lines. But what I ended up doing on the other one, and what I usually do because I just don't have that much patience, is I go, when I have a journal that has lines on it like this, I draw over it. So I'm going to move the text over here. I'm going to select my shape tool, go down and get another rounded rectangle, set the radius at 60, and then put that in the box and cover up the lines. So it's black, and I didn't want it black, but you're going to see what I'm going to do anyway to fix it. I'm going to use a paper from the Exodus kit and make it a clipping mask. And now go back with my words, which are down too far. I got to bring them up and put them here. And it's still a little bit wide. Let me pull that in. There we go. And let's see what it looks like centered. I think it looks nice like that. So I'm going to leave it like that. Now we have a background journal card, a mask, a rectangle, and then the font. So if you go over here to the layers palette, what you want to do is choose each one of those, including, let's see, this is one I want to get rid of. Hold on one sec. I'm not going to use that. The font, the clipping mask layer, the rectangle layer, and the journal layer. And I'm going to hit Command G on a Mac or Control G on a PC to group that and call that the verse layer. So now I have the verse. And that's Exodus, let me go see where I had it. Exodus 7:19. So before I forget, I want to put Exodus 7:19 here. Remember to zoom in. You hit Control and the plus sign, or Command and the plus sign on the PC. I capitalize my E. And then I had a little tab that I like to put my Bible reference on. A lot of people don't put Bible references on their Bible journal pages, and I want to know where it is so I can go look at it. Plus, I like to know where it is because my Pinterest page is completely divided into Old New Testament and then each book of the Bible. So if I saw this and didn't know where it went, I would know it was Exodus because I know where this is about the Exodus. But if it was in Philippians or something, I would want to put it in the proper folder on my Pinterest board. So if you're making Bible journal pages, please put your references. Okay, when I pulled that in, I don't see it. And the reason is it's behind everything. So we're going to pull that up so we can see it. Pull it up to the top. Maybe it's underneath here. Okay, it came in the middle. And it came in a group. So here I have to explain to you what I just did because this is an easy mistake to make. When you pull in an element, if you happen to pull it in to a group, and mine came under my Brad's, Go to your layers palette and click open your group so you can look at it. Go to the little thing that you just pulled in that you want out of it and hit Command bracket, bracket, bracket and get it out of there. So now it's out of there. And I'm going to make it a wee bit bigger. And I got to put my name on the top of it. And I'm going to group those together. And before I group them, I wanted to center it. And then I would like to choose just the little tab there and put a drop shadow on it. Go back to the layers, and that's another group, and we're going to call that reference. Pull down some of that paint. You could pull this down. You could duplicate the paint by hitting Command J and pulling that up so some of it comes out the top so you can see the paint. Now this is my Finder in a Mac. You'd use a PC, you'd look at your Explorer to pull in your next element. And I'm going to pull that right there, bring it to the front. Now if you hit Command Shift and right bracket, it brings it all the way to the top automatically. And I'm going to zoom in with Command plus, 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 so I can get up here and put this in the way I want it to go in. When I created this the first time, these little strings went off onto the next page, so I cut them off. So yours will have little strings, and I'll show you how you can cut them off in just a second. Now this has already got quite a bit of drop shadows on it because I made it with drop shadows on the heart and the tags that went on top because it's a cluster. But if you wanted to put another drop shadow on it, you could, but it's going to make your paint look a little bit funny. So think about it. Command minus to zoom back out to see where we are. And we'll put some washi tape on this side. So now you've learned how to make a rounded rectangle tag. The only difference between this one and this one was this one has a clipping mask on it and a little fake hole in it. And this one was just a quick tag to help you with your journaling. Another thing that happens, sometimes you'll have a traveler's notebook background that has a lot of busy paint on it, or a Bible background with a lot of busy paint. So what you might want to do is make one of these rectangles to put your text on so it'll stand out more. Go back into the photo bin and get some washi tape to put on this side. And we want the washi tape above the paint. And we want to show you how to make a better drop shadow. Go back to the layers after you've added this drop shadow and click on this FX and bring that down a little bit. Now copy that by right-clicking on the layer of this. Let me bring it down just a tiny bit more by bringing the opacity, the distance. There, that's better. Now right-click on it and copy layer style. And you can use that same style for the other washi tapes. Paste layer style. Paste layer style. I don't think we put a style on the verse. I'm going to open up the verse and put the style on this background page. And I want to push this up just a little bit more. Push this down. And see how easy it is because I have them grouped. And because I still have the style on my clipboard, I can go back over to this layer and automatically just paste it. Now the title for this page is the blood plagues. So I need to add that yet. And I wanted to show you how to make a black title red. If you just need to nudge something, you can use your arrows on your keyboard. So let's see if I have the word in here, blood. Here we go. Okay. I'm going to use a clipping mask. There are a few ways to color. In this case, I'm going to use a clipping mask, and I'll tell you why. First, let me put this blood all the way on the top. Okay, and now I'm going to put a layer above it. And the way I'll do this is I'm going to choose a rectangle tool, and I'm going to draw a rectangle bigger than the blood. And it's going to come in that red color. But now I need to put it at the very top of the layers palette. So the very top is the red, and the next layer is the word blood. Let me show you, you can see it. And then I'm going to create a clipping mask. And when I did that, I lost, before the blood had a 3D effect look to it, a plastic look to it, and I lost it. But if I go through these blend modes, let me show you where the blend modes are, up here. If you use these blend modes on this red, it's going to give it a different look. You can multiply, we don't like that. You can overlay, still looks not the red. And I think lighten is going to be the one we want. Yep, there it is. So now I'm going to choose this rectangle and the word blood, and I'll merge those together. And then, so I'll rename it blood. And that's also going to have a drop shadow. Okay, and now I'm going to use the word plague, which I just wrote out. Let me see if I can find that font so I can show you what I wrote it out in. I'm pretty sure, let me go write the word plague. And it came in red because I have that colored, but you can change it real quick to black. And let me look at, it starts with D-E-L, I remember that. There we go, Del Basto. So let's make that a, so I have it here. I just wanted to show you that's the name of the font. Let me show it to you again, Del Basto Regular. And that's, I'm not sure if it's a free font, but you can look at it. And then look and see if you have something that looks even better for the word plague. So now we're about done. You can print this out and put it right in your traveler's notebook. I'll add one more washi to the other side just to make it even. Let's do a blue check. Paste that layer style. And this has got to go up on top. And there we are. That's a pretty good page. I thought would be really neat is to do one page on the blood, one page on the frogs, etc., etc. And you've got lots of frogs to choose from. So I think that would make a great book just to have one whole book. Another thing you could do is you could go new file, new, blank file. And when you do your blank file, somebody had asked this in the group, is what size do you start off with? Well, I always like to use inches. And I start off with 8 inches by 10, something like that. And here's the key. You change this resolution to 300 dots per inch. That's the important part. Then say, okay. Now we have a blank document. And let's draw that rectangle at 60 radius here. Or you could make 10 tags and then print out the 10 tags and have 10 different things on 10 different tags on the plagues and put them on a key ring. I kind of like the Traveler's Notebook idea, but I wanted to tell you this idea too. So that's all for now. I'm going to finish this up real quick so I can print it out. You know what else is neat? A lot of times I go ahead and I see what I've done here. I've gone and put this on the internet and found out I made an error. And it's so easy. I just go back and fix it. And then you can re-put it on the internet or reprint it out, whatever you need to do. It's so easy to fix because here you are in Photoshop Elements. So that's all for now. I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.